Amy, Daniel Snyder continues to hang out on his yacht, ignore congressional subpoenas. How long can he realistically do this before something takes place which forces him to appear or he gets arrested?
It seems very defiant, but actually what he's doing is legally okay. And a lot of people would advise him to do it. The reason is that, when you're subpoenaed by Congress, you can contest that in a court of law if you have the means to do so, which obviously he does, and make the argument that Congress really has no business investigating or meddling in the affairs of his club within the context of a league that's privately run, and that there's really no public interest in doing so. There's really no valid legislative purpose. This isn't related to lawmaking at all. Of course, on the other side, the legislators are going to say, yes, this is. This is not only related to the Commanders in the NFL, which is the preeminent league in this country running football, but it's also relevant to all workplaces across America that are influenced by the NFL and the things that it allows. So there's definitely, I think, gearing up for a argument in court over whether the subpoena is even legally valid. Now, courts are very hesitant to throw out subpoenas from Congress because there's separation of powers between the different branches. And they might say, listen, this is a political thing. It's too political for us. We don't want to get involved in it, and they'll just throw it out. But a lot of times, and we saw this recently with a subpoena that was issued for former President Trump's financial documents, the court will say, okay, we're not going to throw it out entirely because, this is Congress and we don't want to piss them off. But this is just too broad in scope. We're going to narrow the scope of questioning. And even if Daniel Snyder can get that, that's going to be a victory for him because then he can only be asked about a certain amount of things. Keep in mind that the more he's asked about, the more questions he has to field, he's more at risk of either not telling the truth or appearing not to tell the truth, and then he could be brought up on perjury charges. So he really wants this as narrow as possible so he can hopefully talk around the difficult questions without getting into any legal trouble.